Thank you for all the members of the channel who make this video possible. In this video, we're going to share the secret strategies, the hidden tactics, and elite playstyles that the top 0.01% of TFT players use to dominate the conversions from the early game. And trust me, this isn't just about finding the right units or the right items. It's about understanding the rhythm of the game, the delicate dance between risk and reward, survival and victory. And this is not something that top players can say on Express, rather it's something that they feel. There are currently two main ways to play the early game, one with a high tempo and one with a low tempo. It's like people, because there are two types of people, the ones that need time to accumulate energy after waking up and the ones who can wake up and run a marathon immediately. In this video, we're going to rely on two excellent players to showcase each of the strategy and learn from them. Bepo is an NA streamer and top player who climbed extremely fast to master by mastering the low tempo playstyle to finish first in many games, and we will use him as an example for this part. The goal of the low tempo is to save as much gold as possible during stage 2 to create an economic advantage over the opponents. This requires him to lose all the rounds on purpose to stack the loss streak interest and rush the interest thresholds as fast as possible. In other words, he is trading his HP for money. If we think about it, it's like trading the mental health and physical health in order to work more and gain more money for the retirement. I feel like my French blood is urging me to go on a strike right now. This low tempo playstyle suits reroll comps as they require tons of gold to find and make the 3-star units. If money can't buy happiness, at least it can help you buy the units you need. So this low tempo playstyle is the rhythm you want to apply if you want to play any meta comp that requires to have 3-star units such as Tristana reroll, Talia reroll or even Eco reroll. Since you aim to make as much money as possible during stage 2, you will favor any omens that accelerate this process, and you have a couple of them that are particularly efficient. For the silver tier, try to pick AFK, Consistency, Tiny Titans, Blood Money. For the gold tier, try to pick Metabolic Accelerator, Rich Get Richer. And for the prismatic tier, try to pick Golden Ticket, Hedge Fund, or Tiniest Titan. There are also a couple of legends designed for this playstyle. Vladimir, because the more you lose HP, the stronger your team is thanks to the augment called Transfusion. Pengu, because it gives you access to Tiny Titans, Metabolic Accelerator and Tiniest Titan. And Tamkench, because it gives you AFK, Rich Gets Richer or Hedge Fund. This strategy is best to use if you aim for reroll comp or had a bad start with no great item to use and no natural 2-star units. Since your board is weak, it's best to embrace that weakness and take one step behind to jump higher later. By the way, I'm taking this opportunity to tell you that I am making a free newsletter and I can send you a weekly meta checkpoint with the best comps of the meta so you can focus on what's fun and competitive on TFT. Bebe is an internationally recognized player who is known for his very aggressive playstyle. For him, it's not about saving HP or gold, it's about dealing as much damage as possible to all the opponents he faces. And not only it gives him a health advantage over his opponents, but also it helps him to affect psychologically all the other opponents. Think about it. You would likely panic if you face multiple players like Bebe in your lobby and you see your health melting round after round. This will force you to roll for your focus earlier with less gold available, making you less likely to hit your champions. This aggressive playstyle is suited for people who want to push their level to play late game comps around 4-cost and 5-cost units, such as Aphelios or Zeri. However, it's essential to know how to make a strong board in the early game since you will need to pick the suitable units to make the strongest board possible. This is why you will prioritize 2-star units over synergies, and you will slam, or complete if you prefer, all the items you have. Here are some examples of good early game combos. The Ionia start gives you strong front line and a great back lane. The more 2-star units you have, the stronger it is. On the other hand, you can also go with Shadow Eye, which is an excellent synergy as long as you can value it with 2-star Maokai and Viego. At the end of the day, it's really up to you to fill as many 2-star units as possible with the correct items and interesting synergies. Speaking of items, with this strategy you need to make sure that you always use all your items and you should never have items sitting on the bench. One item can literally double the amount of tankiness or damage a unit can deal, and it's impossible to aim for an aggressive playstyle without aggressively using the items. There are also a couple of items that are much more impactful during the early game, and you should aim for this if you want to win fights. I'm talking about Stylish Sheath, Ionic Spark, Sunfire Cape, Warmog, Gargoyle Stone Plate, Zizero Portal, Locket of the Iron Celery. While they are good if you want to win streak, remember not only to build these, and you should also aim for other items, or you will no longer have great items for the late game. But we also need to consider Combat Augment in order to win the early fights. For Silver tier, we have Unified Resistance and any augment that gives you more items. You also have Healing Orbs, Red Buff, but only if you don't have Sunfire Cape, Cybernetic Bolt, and Social Distancing. For Gold tier, you should pick Gifts from the Fallen, Tons of Stats, Idealism, A Cut Above, and anything that can make your bow stronger immediately. For Prismatic, it's similar, but there are also some good examples that you want to pick, like Roll the Dice, or any crown that makes your bow stronger immediately. For instance, Noxus Crown, if you can play Noxus and snowball with it. For this playstyle, there are a few legends that fit perfectly. Ornn to get powerful on items as stage 2, and Draven who can make you snowball even faster by looting more orbs. But Earth can be a great as well, because it can give you the emblem you need to unlock a very powerful synergy from stage 2 and snowball from there. This high tempo playstyle is suited for people who really like to win fights from the early game and create snowball effect during their games. However, it's often hard to finish first with this playstyle as we tend to sacrifice our late game power to win the early game. But also, you must know your bow strength before playing aggressively. Just like when you will not try to get a job if you don't have the skills to back it up, you will not try to play aggressively if you don't have the items or the units or the augment to back it up. At the end of the day, no strategy is better than the other, because what truly matters is how well you can execute them. And if you want to try low tempo while you have tons of 2-star units and great items or vice versa, you will literally throw your game and have poor results compared to a pro player given with the same situation. Most pro players will be able to feel which tempo they should use at each moment. And this is why it's actually difficult to explain these concepts, because they are abstract. Still, now you know exactly how you can copy these two pro players and apply it in your games. And you can also apply them in any of the guides I am creating on this channel. Speaking of that, you might want to try one of these two strategies in this trending comp that I'm showing right now. And I will see you on the next video at the top of the ladder.